Well, I think that really when it comes to defining my teaching philosophy, I'm sort of reminded in that Socratic sense that I don't know everything. And as odd as it sounds to begin with that, I think that's one of the most crucial points. For, of course, I've learned a lot during my internships and my experience in the classroom, but I have a lot more to learn and I want to learn more. I think that as teachers, it's crucial to continue to learn. Of course, we learn from our students, but it's also important to continue to learn through the literature as well. It's something I'm really, really interested in, is actually pursuing the literature and studying more and becoming more familiar with new studies and research that comes out. And I think that the ability to learn and continue to learn really defines a teacher, because it's that keen interest for knowledge that brought me here in the first place. And with that said, then, it's a commitment to improvement in any aspect of teaching, I think, is indicative of a successful teacher. It's that dynamism as opposed to the static, boring old teacher. It's the willingness to improve and better oneself that is ultimately at the root of being a successful teacher. Because there's a lot to learn about our students, and I've really seen that already. Certainly they don't come to us with the same life experience, and I think a diversified approach is necessary to cater to these students' experiences. It goes back to that saying that what's fair isn't necessarily equal, and I really believe that, because not everyone has the same equal opportunities, so you have to approach situations differently to make them fair, and I'm an utter advocate of that. Because think of in the instance of foreign students, like ESL students or First Nation student, even just students with different socioeconomic status, their reality is different from ours, or even different from their peers, and that really needs to be taken into account, I think. And on that note, it's different methods that make a difference. I really believe that. By finding what it is the students like, but you have to do something you really believe in yourself. But a successful teacher can't be afraid to take those risks and try something different. And I found already in my first internship that it makes a huge difference being willing to step past the comfort zone and really try something new to make it work with the kids. I know for myself, I shared a lot of the poems I've written in short stories and showed them that sort of drafting or editing process, and they really responded to that. So I think being able to implement any different style in the classroom is crucial. And on that note, technology plays an amazing role. I'm pretty good with technology, and I have a keen interest in that as well. And when used, not used superfluously, but when used meaningfully, to have an impact in your class, it has such a huge, unlimited potential, and I think that's crucial. That's crucial for me. And all of these things, they really sort of come together to form motivation. You want that intrinsically motivated, self-efficacious student, but in order to do that, you've got to provide them with the tools and empower them to be that way. And I think that's really the teacher's ultimate role, is to model that self-efficacy and that intrinsic motivation until the students can do it for themselves. Because any student at the heart of things want to learn, but it goes back to that fair and equal thing. They've all got different obstacles that they have to overcome in order to get to that self-intrinsically motivated, part of their life. But I think it's crucial to mention too, as much as any one teacher can study the literature, that a teacher's not alone, and the sum of the whole is greater than the parts, than the constituent parts. PLCs, group meetings, all these sorts of things come together to make a more effective teacher. And that's the thing. As good as any teacher can be, myself or anyone else alone, they're never going to be as good as they could be with a group. It's really important to form that group dynamic, and I'm someone who's always been interested in and able to take on a leadership role. And that's good, that's great. But it's also crucial to know when to step back and to learn from others. So I think that's important, is the willingness to learn, both on the student's part and the teacher's part. We can't forget that. In the end, teaching has to be a passion, because you're out there in front of an audience the whole time. And if it's not a passion, it's going to show. Whereas for myself, I'm passionate about being there. And as that keen model for the students, that rubs off. Because when I'm there, excited about the material and ready to learn, then the students are going to be ready to learn. That rubs off in classroom management, in behavior management, in all these things. It's the teacher at the end of the day who makes a difference. And I really believe that if a teacher can model learning, then in the end the students are going to learn, because it's really the teacher that makes a difference, and that's why I'm here.